Don't contribute to the tragedy of the commons. So welcome to the Iskandarian TV. I'm Harish and today we're going to talk about tragedy of the commons. Okay, so what is the tragedy of the commons? This is actually a situation where in a shared resource system, an individual may act independently according to his own or her self-interest or some other motive to behave contrary to the common good of all the users by depleting or spoiling the shared resource through their collective action. Garrett Hardin in 1968, he coined this term, the tragedy of the commons, in his observation or study of population control. So he provided the example of farmers allowing their cattle, cows or animals to graze freely on common pastures. So as each farmer, to their own benefit, increase the number of cattle or the size of the pasture that they let them to graze on, the land exceeds its carrying capacity and leads to the ruin of it all, resulting in the tragedy of the commons. So the coronavirus or COVID-19 situation right now is causing a lot of panic buying of toilet paper, sanitizers, disposable masks, food, supplies, and even water, that vividly illustrates the tragedy of the commons in current context. It is sensible to have a 2-week supply of medication and food, but to buy bags and bags or shopping carts worth of supply is not entirely logic, or in case some are perishable and non-perishable, short lifespan, this is truly a tragedy. It is understood that every individual has a degree of risk that they cannot bypass. But buying up everything on the shelf is not really risk hedging, it's more of hoarding. It might sound like a Shakespeare play, but it's actually a common thing that's happening right now, especially during this current situation that we're facing, a health pandemic, which is the coronavirus or COVID-19 virus, which is spreading. And so far we've got it under the control, except that in some minor cases there are these kind of tragedies that are happening. You see this happen each time there's a scheduled press conference or announcement, or even when people forward messages on their messaging apps like WhatsApp or social media. You see people dash to the grocery store to panic buy. Stop doing it and remain rational. We won't die of hunger yet, and possibly the worst that we'll encounter is that we won't get to buy the occasional brands that we are accustomed to or normally buy. Remember that only one person, the head of the family, in this case myself, would be allowed to go out and buy the necessities or medication. Practice social distancing. The authorities or the advice is to stay at least 1 meter apart and buy what you need. Don't touch anything. This is most important. Don't touch anything when you don't intend to buy it. Okay, browse, window. This is where the term window shopping comes alive. Just browse and don't touch anything. You can stock up without panicking. You can prepare without panic buying. So be sure to like, subscribe and comment below what are your thoughts on this current situation, not only the tragedy of the commons but also COVID-19. Thank you.